Could somebody please make it make sense?
Hey everybody, welcome to A Pop of Culture. I am your host, the Esoteric and Facetious, and this is A Pop of Culture, where I speak on pop culture, social justice, and human experience from a black, bisexual, Malay perspective. Everything, and I mean everything I say, should be taken with a grain of salt, as I'm simply a college graduate with access to a recording device and the internet. With that being said, my shouldn't be your sole reason critiquing my views unless it's truly relevant. If you disagree with anything I say, let's have a civil conversation in the comment section below. With that being said, I want to advertise my cover channel and then get into the topic of this video. I have a cover channel, A Pop of Culture Sings, where I sing throwback R&B, contemporary R&B, pop music, whatever I'm feeling, whatever you're feeling. So if you want to be down like Brandy, if you're down to click RP Aliyah, then definitely feel free to check this channel out. With that being said, let's get into the topic of this video. So last week or some time ago, Monique uploaded a video on Instagram where she decided to, as an older woman, as an elder black lady in the community, to speak to younger black women and black women she's seen about wearing bonnets in public. Monique said basically that she feels, and I'll include a clip, that young black women and black women in general should always have pride in their appearance. And she feels that when black women leave the house to go to the store, to go to the gas station, to go to the airport, they should always be putting themselves in the best light, and they should not be wearing things like sleepwear, including things like bonnets and pajama pants out in public.
And as we began to walk through the airport, I saw so many, actually too many to count, and too many for me to tap, but I saw so many of our young sisters in head bonnets, scarves, slippers, pajamas, blankets wrapped around them, and this is how they're showing up to the airport. And I've been seeing it, not just at the airport, I've been seeing it at the store, at the mall. I've been seeing sisters showing up with these bonnets and headscarves and their slippers. And the question that I'm having to you, my sweet babies, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? When did we step away of, let me make sure I'm presentable when I leave my home? Let me make sure I'm representing the family I created so that if I'm out in the street, I look like I have pride in myself.
Now, before I give my thoughts on Monique's stance, I want to provide the disclaimer: I'm a black man. So this message given by Monique was directed towards black women. So their response is the most important, but I'm just going to give my thoughts as a member of the black community as well. So my thoughts on Monique giving this advice, I'm going to say this. Monique in the last few years has really ruined her public image with a lot of people. She has said some not so good things about some very powerful people in the industry. And here's my thing. Maybe I can do a video on Monique, but I don't necessarily think that everything Monique says is wrong. But I do think, as Steve Harvey said, there's a way to go about things. You kind of do have to play the game. You have to play the system to win. And I find it very interesting that Monique, somebody who has basically ruined her public image for the most part, is telling anybody how they should be perceived in public. I think we should take pride in our appearance, but we should also take pride in how we're being perceived. Now, to be fair, Monique, in my opinion, feels so strongly about her beliefs that that's why she is willing to sacrifice her public image. But I do feel like if you're going to speak about how people should present themselves in public, you should also probably speak about the social component, not just the physical component. And that's the thing with Monique too. Monique has been somebody who spoke about not shaving her legs, and she's also been somebody who has said that her husband is allowed to cheat. So here's my thing. I feel like when we talk about self-respect, there's so many levels of self-respect. There's respecting your body. There's respecting yourself by, appearing in public in a way that shows you have pride in yourself. There's a way of having self-respect in the way you speak about yourself, the way you think about yourself. There's so many elements to this. And I feel like Monique is trying to talk about bonnets, but she's not really embodying self-respect in every aspect of her life. Now, to be fair, I do think that there is some truth to what she's saying, and I do think sometimes we can separate the message from the messenger. And I do think some people have kind of gotten very comfortable showing up any kind of way in public. Now, one thing I will say is I do think there is a difference between showing up as you are, or showing up how you feel, and showing up in a way that's not at all flattering. Showing up as you are or showing up how you feel may mean, hey, I normally wear a face of makeup, but today I'm just going to, go barefaced. Whereas showing up in a way that's unflattering would be not washing your face at all. I do think that we as people all need to take care of ourselves and have hygiene. You could take a shower, you could brush your teeth and wash your face and do everything you need to do, and then still put a bonnet on top of your head. But I do agree with people, because we associate bonnets with sleepwear. If you're not somebody who's black, the reason why people wear bonnets, specifically black women in particular, is the fact that natural hair doesn't get along with a lot of types of pillowcases. So if you want to maintain your natural hair and have your natural hair not look crazy when you wake up in the morning, then you're going to want to wear a bonnet. Even if you have relaxed hair, even if you have your hair braided in a certain style, if you want to maintain that hairstyle, you're probably going to want to wear a bonnet, because the tossing and turning that you do while you're sleeping can make a hairstyle come loose, not last as long, whatever. So bonnets are generally associated with sleepwear. One of the things that you'll see a lot on Black Twitter is the meme of, if somebody is wearing their bonnet around you, like if you're dating somebody and you're staying the night, if they begin to wear a bonnet for you, that shows that there's this level of trust. Because for a lot of black women, them wearing a bonnet, generally speaking, is like their most quote-unquote vulnerable state, because when a woman is wearing a bonnet, generally speaking, most women, they're not trying to be seen by anybody. They're not trying to be cute. They're just trying to rest and exist in their space. And even the fact that those memes exist shows you that bonnets for the longest time have been something that people have worn when they're sleeping or when they're lounging around the house. And perhaps when they're headed to the hair salon, they're not something that is usually worn outside of the house. Now, there are head wraps and head scarves that are worn for the purpose of being seen outside. They're meant for outside wear. So I do agree with Monique that this shift, where something that was previously only worn when you were sleeping or when you were lounging around the house, that being worn out in public is not necessarily the best look, because it gives off the vibe that you're not all the way there. If someone shows up with a bonnet on to a job interview, that shows the person, it may not be true, but it implies to the person that this person isn't necessarily taking all the pride they could in their appearance, that they're just kind of showing up, that they just rolled out of bed. Now, one critique I do have of Monique's statement is the fact that she kind of assumes that every person who's wearing a bonnet isn't taking pride in their appearance. To be fair, there are certain situations where somebody might be in a rush. They may need to pick up some medication that they thought they already had, that they take at a specific hour. They need to rush somewhere to get it. They may be going to the ER. You never know what's going on in someone's life. And the way that somebody presents themselves can also be indicative of their mental health. When you are going through it, sometimes you don't care how you look. You don't care about your appearance. You don't care about anything, much less if people see you out in a bonnet. So Monique, one of the things she mentions in the video is that she taps young women that she sees, and she tells them pretty much, you need to present yourself in a better light. And for me, I do think that that's kind of overstepping, because like I said, you never know what someone's going through. This person may have lost their mama, they may have lost their child, so I do think that that is overstepping, and I think that that is wrong. Now, if her tapping is just her checking in, I think that's fine, because if you see someone with a bonnet on, you may want to ask them, hey, is everything all right? Are you feeling okay? Because you could just ask them and see, you have a bonnet on, like, I know you're usually always put together, or, are you sure this is the way you want to present yourself? I do think there's nothing wrong with checking in with people, but I do think, like I said, sometimes when you're in states of crisis, you don't care about presenting yourself in the best light. So I think checking in with people is good, but tapping people and trying to put them in line isn't as good. And that's where I want to get to, what I call the Bonnet effect, which is probably going to be the title of this video. The idea of the Bonnet effect is this theory that I have when it comes to Monique and what I got from her video. In Monique's video, she says that her goal is trying to make sure that Black women portray in or present themselves in the best light at all times. But when you hear how she talks about women in bonnets, there's this kind of disgust you hear in her tone. Like, these Black women are, what they're doing is kind of making her look bad. And that's what I call the bonnet effect, where a Black woman wearing a bonnet walking through the airport while Monique is there, Monique may feel that this Black woman doing this is making quote-unquote Black women look bad. And I want to talk about that, because I feel like there is a lot of this idea we see out there of one person of a marginalized community that has negative stereotypes surrounding the community. Them doing this action, whatever action it is making everybody else look bad. This is something you'll see in the Black community when it comes to things like the bonnets, but also people sagging their pants, people using improper grammar, or what some would call improper grammar, also known as African American vernacular English. When people who are gay, like for example, a gay man may see a flamboyant gay man who is using all the lingo, who is doing things that society may deem as effeminate, and he may feel like you're making us all look bad. And one of the things I want to do with unpacking what I call the bonnet effect is this true? Do y'all think this is true? Do you think that a Black person doing something unflattering, other Black people who are like listening to the audience, do you think that negatively impacts you? Because I recently did a video, definitely check it out. It's about the alpha and heels, and it's about this idea of when one person who's an individual in a group does something, it can impact the perception of the group as a whole. But I don't know. I do feel like that sometimes it does give me insecurity vibes, where like with Monique, it feels like she doesn't feel as good or confident when a Black woman does something like wearing a bonnet, because she feels it reflects back on her. And in my opinion, it's a complex thing. Does the way that people of our identity or experience, the way that they present themselves out in the world, impact us in some way? Yes, but in some way, no. Because if a Black woman wearing a bonnet is short with somebody, like if they are, rude with staff, let's say that this woman who's wearing a bonnet, let's say that she's causing a scene at one of the airport restaurants, and Monique walks by, and this woman is just being so rude with the employees and stuff, and she's wearing a bonnet. Yes, potentially the way that she acts could impact the way that those employees perceive Black women. But at the same time, I think we all have to give people credit. People, all of us are a parts of different groups, identities, and experiences. So this person who's dealing with this Black woman who's, maybe being what some may perceive as rude to the airport restaurant staff, they may see that and assume, wow, another Black woman who is acting uncouth. But you have to understand the reason why they're acting that way is because they already perceive Black women in a negative way. A person is mature and knowledgeable, they're going to understand that not everybody in a group acts the same way. So they're going to understand that people are individuals. And they're going to understand that Monique can be a wonderful, great Black woman, even if their experiences with other Black women haven't been good. I think that sometimes we, as people who are a part of marginalized experiences, can feel this pressure that we have to be that example of the fact that a Black person can be a good, kind, wonderful human being. And the reality is, if somebody needs you in 2021 to prove to them that a Black person can be a kind, loving, wonderful person, they're already too far gone, in my opinion. Because we as people should all understand that we are all individuals and that no group is going to just be one way. I get why Monique feels the way that she does, but I also feel like some of that comes from her having some type of an insecurity. Because my thing is, if Monique was fully secure in herself, nothing else anybody would do would bother her because she is focused on her and her life and her making her goals and dreams come true while she still has time to do that. But I will say, I do think there is this energy that we can get from people who are what you would call elders. And sometimes elders do concern themselves with things that younger people do because they care and they see people going the wrong way. So I will say, if Monique truly in her heart and in her soul feels people are going the wrong way and that they are not doing things that are in their best interest, I think that it's fair for her to call that out. But like I said, I think that in the future, Monique has to communicate to people that presenting yourself in the best light is not just about appearance. It's also about the way that you conduct yourself in a public setting. And I think that Monique, even though she's not wearing a bonnet out in public, has to be aware of the way that she's being perceived. Like I said, I think Monique is somebody who stands very firm in her beliefs, so that's why she's willing to do and say the things she does. Because my thing is, I feel like with certain things, once you have it, you have it. So in my opinion, Monique, for her to get the opportunities that she's had in the past, she had to know how to play the game at one point. So Monique isn't an unintelligent woman, so I believe she knows how to play the game. She's just choosing not to, which is fine if this is the hill that she wants to die on. But at the same time, I do feel if you're going to talk about public image and perception, maybe pull on some of your own experiences and show more than just appearance. So what are y'all's thoughts? How do y'all feel about the Bonnet effect? Do you feel when people do things that are not flattery, and these people happen to be members of a shared identity or experience to you, that it makes you look bad? If you're a Black man who's trying to be a quote-unquote good father and a good example, do you feel when you see a Black father who's not showing up for his family, he's not showing up for his kids, he's just having kids with a bunch of women, do you feel some type of an embarrassment, or do you just understand he does not represent you? And any example like that, do you side on they're a bad example and they need to be held accountable when it comes to people who are not lining up to your ideals, or do you feel like they are them and they're going to do what they want to do? Comment down below. Love y'all. Bye-bye. See y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Share your thoughts below. Like this video if you like this video. If you made it to this point in the video, comment a thumbs up emoji below, or still here if you are still here. Subscribe if you want to see more, and make sure to hit that bell so you're the first to know when I upload new content. I upload new content every week. And if you're enjoying yourself, and why wouldn't you be enjoying yourself? To the left, there's a playlist of all my video essay podcasts. I have 24 and counting. In the center is a button to subscribe if you just haven't had a chance to subscribe and you would like to. And to the right is a playlist of all of my covers and parodies. So if you are wanting to check those out, feel free to do so. And if you want to support me, if you want to support the show, first and foremost, a non-financial way you can support is just through sharing this video. I can make the thumbnails, I can, make the titles, I can do the tags and do keyword research. One of the best ways that I can grow my brand is through y'all sharing this content with other people who like this type of content, because I nor you can control the algorithm, but I can control the quality of the content I make, and y'all can, if you enjoy the content, share with people who can like it, so that way, if y'all are feeling it, it's getting put out there, whether, the algorithm favors it or not. Somebody's gonna see it because you resonated with it and you resonated with me, and now you're sharing it with other people. So if that's a non-financial way you can support the channel, and if you do want to support the channel financially, my Cash App is linked in the description of this video. I'm trying to, upgrade my production quality and just, keep growing and expanding and, doing bigger and better. So if you want to help and support that vision, feel free to do so. All those who donate to the channel will be featured in the credits of all of my videos on both of my channels. Thanks so much for watching. Love you all. Bye-bye. See you next time.